my producer. Pull from the hip, 4/5, I'm the shooter. Dog, I do ya. But the two don't discriminate, cause I shoot the guy next to ya. I can see right through.
Well, one of my favorite segment of the shows is cut, bench, start. I know you're a North Carolina guy, so I got three North Carolina players, and you got a cut, bench, start one. So we're gonna go Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Jerry Stackhouse. You got a cut, bench, and start one.
Vince Carter,
Antoine Jameson, and Jerry Stackhouse.
starting Vince. Twan Jameson played high school with me, so I'm cutting him.
Well, with no introduction, man, we got my guy on, my head coach, my mentor, my big brother, my father, my therapist. He everything. You hear me, man? AW Canada.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the invite, man.
Coach, man, it's a pleasure to have you on. You do so many great things for so many, man. It's a pleasure. And that's what this podcast is about, uplifting, and characters that have made a big impact on the public and the community, and you definitely all of that. Appreciate you.
Oh, man, I definitely appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Coach, I'm going to start with the first question, though. A lot of people, because you've done so much in the city of Detroit, they actually think you're from Detroit, but I believe you're from North Carolina, correct?
Oh, yeah, G-Town, man. HVC all day, man. Charlotte, North Carolina.
So tell us a little bit about that transition from North Carolina to Detroit.
I came up here, man, in '97. I started off at UNC Charlotte, and my dad was pastoring a church up here on the west side. And he talked to the coaches at Wayne State, and they basically was like, yeah, I could come on as a walk-on. Then all of a sudden, I get up here, and they basically put me on scholarship, so it was one of those things. I came up in '97. I had 3 years of eligibility left, and just finished up here and been up here ever since.
So starting it off, man, we go way far back at Reach, man. Explain to our viewers the process of you coming up through the Reach program as well, and to piggyback on that, why coach at Pershing?
That's funny, man. So I with Reach, man, I was working at my dad's after school program, and then Charles Ashore, one of my teammates, man, he grew up in the Reach program. He took me up there. Like, man, come on up here and play with us. So I went up there to play the very first day, and that's actually probably the best lesson I ever learned from V and Mark. I stood on the stage the whole day to the very last game, and they was like, my man, you came to play, you just came to watch. It's like, so how we supposed to know? And it just showed me right there, man, you can't take a back seat. But, it was like, man, I was, just in awe of the guys playing, and, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I got out there, and from that day forward, shoot, I never missed a run in there again. So from that day forward also, V and Mark became mentors in my life. So what ended up happening, instead of going back to work with my dad, I ended up working at St. Rita's, for V and Mark, doing the program then. And just kept doing it. Next thing you know, V was offered the JV coaching job at Pershing. And of course, he ain't want to do it. So, he gave it to me or whatnot. And, I didn't think nothing of it because, shoot, I was already in the gym damn near all day. And next thing you know, from that, me and Charles Ashore end up being on the varsity staff. And Charles ended up, just saying one day, coming to the locker room like, man, this ain't for me. Me and him had talked. And that kind of catapulted me up to the next assistant. And then when Weatherspoon stepped down, then basically I was the next in line. So it definitely, man, was, divine, because I had no intentions whatsoever on being a coach. It's nothing I always or ever said that, man, I want to be a coach, but that's basically how it happened, man.
So, Coach, actually being from North Carolina, then coming up here and then joining the Pershing staff, how long did it take you to realize the rivalries and the talent that was in the city. Because like I graduated from Martin Luther King, so Pershing and King, Denby, just the talent in the relationships between the schools. How long did it take you to join into that?
Oh man, it was instant, man. It was instant. It was funny, man. It kind of was always reenacted, man, on Tuesdays and Fridays up at the high school run in St. Rita's. They would invite teams up there every Tuesday and Friday, man. So you got to see cats go at it. Sometimes those games was better than the games, that you would see once the season started. You know what I mean? And that was the preseason. So it was one of those things where that actually was my first introduction to like, dang, this serious up here. North Carolina, we was different. To me, I don't think we was as talented as the guys in the D, but to me, we played harder. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things up here, man. It was just so much talent. Like you could see cats, but it was just like some guys would be so talented, but they just didn't play hard. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, and you just always was looking at that talent, like, man, okay, this something different up here. So yeah, it was instant, man. It was instant.
So, Coach, I know, but if you can explain to our viewers, man, where did that passion and caring come from, man? Because every player we done had on here, and speaking for myself, man, it was like it didn't matter if you was the last person on the team or the best person on the team. You always treated everybody the same, fed everybody, moved people into the house during the summer, came, put money on light bills, gas bills. Where did all that come from?
Oh, man, my family, man, and just growing up, my uncles, man. My dad said something that stayed with me, man. He was like, if you're gonna help somebody, man, and you start it, you got to finish it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, man, that I was just born to serve, man. I used to say help people, but not even help, man. But just I learned, you want to be empowering, because sometimes when we help people, we enable, because we don't let them help themselves. So you just basically, man, it was like I say, man, it was just in my spirit, man. I was born with it, from a young age, and that's what I was taught. That's the examples that was, set for me. And I said, why not follow in it? That's a positive example, man. So that's kind of all I know.
Coach, we've had people like, Terrence Wheeler and yourself on that have done just so much for the city and the community. Tell me about that feeling, because, I mean, people like you, I mean, you're rare. Although you might not see it, you're rare, because there's not that many people out there being an inspiration, a father figure, a big brother. Tell me about that experience.
Well, to me, man, it's just it's who I am, and that's all I know. So, man, from going to different campuses at 1 and 2 in the morning, man, talking to college coaches, to telling college coaches maybe a little fib to get this kid in school, to having to shoot, you get suspended for it nowadays, but Marvin tell you, man, we really had to, them guys was like our sons, man. We really had to treat them. Some we had to, show them a little more, hand and love contact, but it was one of those things, man, where it come with the territory, so like I say, man, it's just who I am, and like I said, I don't even feel I've done enough yet, man. It's way more to do. We got some big things in store with my nonprofit, man, which I think is it's something that we really need. But again, that's in store for the future. But as for now, man, you just try to help empower as many as you can, and like I say, it's just who I am. You know what I mean? So it ain't nothing I can brag or boast about, because again, I just wake up every day and feel the same, no matter if what people say about it or this or that. And again, I'm very, man, humble about the the accolades and the congrats and everything, but again, that doesn't shape or change how it's gonna always be the same with me.
So I got a 2-part question for you, Coach. During those losing period times at Pershing, did you ever doubt coaching? And then when did you figure out the recipe to win?
Never doubted coaching. First part, I didn't want to coach. So You can't doubt nothing you ain't really want to do. And then and that's what I always tell people, man, I never looked at myself as a coach, man. I looked at myself as a teacher. It's funny, man. You know, kids say A-Dub, 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 but then all of a sudden when you hear the coach, it's like, dang, you know, so don't get me wrong, that coach title, man, it feels good, you know what I mean? Because that let you know you're doing what you're supposed to do. But like I said, I never doubted it. As far as the second part, I think we learned how to win after your year. Your year, I feel 04, we kind of, 03 we was working, but 04 we kind of tried to bring the team back to where, you know what I mean, put Pershing back on the map. We won our first district. 05, we got to the city championship. I wish I would have known what I was doing because we would have won it. 06, we didn't have a chance, you know, because somebody didn't tell me that PD left his shoes or whatnot. So, it was, and then in 07, it's like, at the end of 07, it's like, dang, we should have played this way, the way we started playing, because I don't think in 07 we had all the talent names, but we had the toughest team that we probably ever had at Pershing, because all 5 guys could defend. Everybody could everybody could score when they had to. So it wasn't no big names, you know what I mean? But, you know, and that was your senior year, Dip. So it was one of those things where you knew those guys around you would die or do whatever to win, you know? So I think at the end of 07, when, in my opinion, we didn't do what we were supposed to, especially me as a coach, I always take the blame for that. I think that just taught us. And then 08 let us know, okay, we headed in the right direction. And then, of course, 09 was, you know, when a state championship came into play. So I would say 07 was really the awakening year.
With some of the best talent to come out of Detroit, that's unquestioned. So I want to box you into a corner here. Give me your best shooter, your best ball handler, your best rebounder, and then your best leader that you've ever worked with.
You said
your best shooter.
Best shooter. Damn. Best shooter. Damn, we had some shooters, man. That's a tough one, man. Best leader. Best leader probably. Best leader had to be Mike Pope, probably. I'd say that's my best leader ever. Best rebounder is on the podcast. He actually was our best defender too. He could check anybody. People don't know he's one of the few people to hold Draymond Green to under double digits. You know what I mean? So
and dunked on him, and he fell.
Oh yeah. My bad. I don't want to take all the okay. You know, so best. You said best score.
Best score.
Oh, that was easy. Keith the best score. Keith the best score, easy. Best shooter, man. That's tough, man. I say this. Dang, man, we had some shooters, man. That one tough. Off top, you got Jawan got to be in there. Mellon probably the most natural shooter, hands down. Mellon can take 10 years off and come back and make 12 in a row. So, shoot, back end, shoot. Rail could shoot. Rail Phillips could shoot. Sure. Man, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Dre Ricks could shoot. I probably have to say most pure shooter would have to either be Mellon or Rail Phillips. I would say the best in-game shooter probably Juwan Howard, because he had the swag and he thought everything was going in. And it's funny, it wasn't natural. He worked for every single thing he got. So I'll go with my boy Jay Howard.
All right, well, I got my question for you then. Your top 5 underappreciated kids you coach, and then give me the top 3 hardest kids to coach.
Underappreciated. Shoot, first I got a bunch, man. It ain't even top 5. I'm just gonna name them. Melvin Taylor was one. Brandon Perry. Deontay Bailey. Clifford Mathis. And Kevin George.
Gotta put KG in there.
And what was your second question?
Top 3 hardest kids to coach.
Oh, shit. Oh, by far. Deshaun Sims was number 1. Number 2 probably was Jabari Curry. Man, in the latter years, it wasn't really no hard ones. Yeah, and then 3 probably would have to be Dre Ricks, because you remember Dre left on us or whatnot. So, but yeah, that was it. Yeah, Petey, Barry, and Dre.
And kind of sticking with that theme, Coach, with all the camps you've done and all the kids you've worked with, usually how long does it take you to see if a kid has it or not?
Oh man, it take 2 or 3 minutes, man. It don't take long at all, man. Because you see if they're gonna dive for that loose ball, or it really, to me, is what tell if they got it is an effort play. You know what I mean? Because like I say, man, there's so many kids in Detroit, man, who got that talent, got that skill, you know, or that innate ability to score or be sweet with the ball, but very few, man, got that it as far as I want to win, boom, boom, boom. And usually, a lot of times, those be the knuckleheads, you know what I'm saying? But the ones who don't end up, you know, taking it nowhere. But like I said, it doesn't take long at all, man. It's one of those things you can see, oh, all right, he ain't got it. You know what I mean? And a lot of times the ones who do got it, those not the ones who necessarily make it in basketball. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm gonna keep it. Who are the top 5 kids that you coached against? Like when you was coaching, you was like, man, that kid is a problem.
Against?
Yeah.
Shoot, man, it was a bunch. Against. Probably number 1, probably what Dar Tucker did to us at Oakland University. That was disgusting. That was, yeah. Deion Sims. That was bad at Orchard Lake. He torched us. Wes Clark. Dang. Nightmares. Yeah, Wes Clark cost us a state. 2 more. What's the kid? Metcalf. And he might be number 1.
You talking about that kid when he got shot, came back and went nuts?
Oh yeah. Didn't play the first quarter. Came in middle of the game and started yelling like, ah. Next thing you know, he checks in, he smacked the ground, raped the ball from Mike at half court, dunked it, smacked the backboard, get a tech, start yelling. Game over. Then we lost by 25 that game.
Yeah, he for sure.
Metcalf, and then dang, man, let me see. Who else? Dang, I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Saginaw, my man, the point guard who went to Tennessee.
Talking about West?
Nah, Saginaw High, the point guard that went to Tennessee.
I don't know him.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
He was on that 08 team when y'all played at Breslin.
Yeah. He killed us. Everybody thought it was Day, but
nah,
it was him. Was that it? It might have been Daniel West. It might have been.
No, I like been. Yeah, he was nice.
Yeah, he killed us. He always gave us problems.
A lot of times, Coach, you hear college coaches say that, you know, going to watch AAU tournaments, they get to see multiple good players at one time, as opposed to high school where you might just have one good player and not Do you think camps like Metro Index or 5-Star can ever make a comeback, or is that just a thing of the past?
Man, I wish they could, man. You learn so much, man. I didn't ever get to work Metro Index as much as I worked 5-Star, but I know just people don't realize to this day, Keith Applin didn't want to go to 5-Star camp. His mom called me because me and Jawan and Ramon, we was already there. And, I didn't, none of that, man. I never told my kids they had to do it. It's one of those things, if you do it, you do it. You know what I mean? But don't come crying to me if it don't work out. You know what I'm saying? So, I never, everybody thought that I made my kids play for Reach. Boom, boom. Nah, Reach was always family, but they played if they want to play. You know what I mean? That wasn't me, but 5-Star, man, Keith didn't want to go. Next thing you know, I'm there. Lee Klein, his dad was over 5-Star. Howard Garfinkel, all them sitting there, like I get a call, man. They all call me like, Coach, where's Keith? I said, what you mean where he at the crib? Like, Coach, he got to be here. And I'm like, well, I mean, y'all can call him. I mean, I don't care if he's here. Nah, Coach, we want him here. Now, I tell you, Kyrie Irving, Javon Pinkston, it was so many other, what's my man from Florida who was in the McDonald's game at the time. Dang, he went to the University of Florida. But it was like 5 guys who was at the 5-Star camp who was going to be in the McDonald's game anyway, who was at that camp. Next thing you know, get on the phone with Keith's mom. He ends up coming. Next thing you know, him and Kyrie end up on the same team. People say that their team is cheating because, again, man, Keith played to the point where it was like if you said he was 5A and Kyrie was 5B, like I told him at the end of the camp, I don't know who they're going to rank higher, but if they rank you higher than him, I ain't mad. If they rank him higher than you, I ain't mad. That's how out of his mind, both of them played out of their mind. But I say all that to say, without 5-Star, if he would have never went, all the McDonald guys who had votes there saw what he could do. That's how he made it. You know what I mean? So the importance of that, man, just the skill, the toughness, man, you got to be out there. You can't skip no workout. You know what I mean? It's punishment for you. Just that old school thought, man, of just discipline and structure, man. It's needed, man. It's needed because AAU to me, man, you got some AAU coaches who about it, but AAU is controlled by shoe companies, man, and parents who want their kids to, be exposed, but a lot of them are getting exposed negative, you know what I mean, for things that they're not able to do. And a lot of the coaches nowadays, we're not holding them accountable, you know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons I know I'm not ready to coach again, man, because I'm one of those type. I don't care what you rank, who your name is. If you ain't playing hard, then I can't roll with you. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. So I'd rather sit back and watch it than, have to be a part of it. And the guy who's supposed to be, quote unquote, the man who ain't running back on defense, you're going to hear that horn sound. You know what I mean? And a lot of kids not accustomed to that nowadays. So, they don't know how to handle that. So, I definitely miss those days, man, the Metro Index and the 5-Stars. And I don't see him coming back, man, because it's a different day. It's a different day, man. To me, we're in the day of the enablers and the day of the people trying to, cater to the kids, man, instead of teach and groom the kids for, for situations that's not successful. And I was telling somebody, man, it was one of the gyms that I work at. They actually had a shooting there, and a young man lost his life. And I was telling people when I first came into teaching in 2000, my first job was a conflict resolution, person in the Detroit public schools. So basically, you would create a situation and you would ask kids how would they solve this. Nowadays, it's no conflict resolution. The only resolution is a negative resolution to where, next thing you know, somebody might lose their life. But it's because we don't know how to handle situations. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, man, that's one of the reasons why Metro Index and places like 5-Star, because you had to be accountable, you learn responsibility, and you had to be willing to accept discipline, and you got to be willing to take an L and come back the next day and say, okay, I'm getting that back, but in a positive light. Nowadays somebody take an L, they say, well, I got to take a life, and that's like I say, man, yeah, we definitely miss those type of camps, but I don't see it, unless we got enough people, man, who got that old school train of thought, to say that this the way it's gonna be, and enough people, join that bandwagon. But for now, man, everybody, down with the, what's hot, let's ride. You know what I mean? And I just, like I said, I miss them days, man. I miss them.
Yeah, Coach, with all the success that you had at Pershing, why did you leave Pershing and go into training?
I couldn't even take my family on a vacation, dog. It was one of those things, man. I came into teaching. Really, I was only a teacher just so I could sub in the building. So, I could be in the building with y'all. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden I went back because my undergrad was in management and entrepreneurship. So I didn't have my teacher certificate. Then I went to get my master's, got my master's in special education. All of a sudden, they say, well, when you get your master's, you get maxed out at 70, which would have been cool. But when I came back with my master's, I had my interview with the board. They said, well, it's a step freeze right now, so you only can get 43. So I was able to do that. And then all of a sudden in 2011, they said next year, EAA was taking over in 2012. I mean, would be, taking over 2012, 2013. So I'd already told myself, and Deb, I don't like working for people, man. Honestly, I like doing my own thing. I don't have a problem listening to people, but it's just like DPS, it wasn't, to me, our views and, our core values didn't align. I'm all about the kids, and that's not what I was seeing, So along with the monetary aspect, it was just like, man, it was time to go, because I really didn't want to be no teacher in the classroom. that wasn't really what I wanted to do. So when they told me EAA was coming, so I already knew I'm out of here. So it was one of those things where, I told the coaches, told Why, Butler, and them, and Mel, and that was it.
Well, along those lines, Coach, did you ever think about stepping it up and going to the next level, coaching college or?
It's funny, man. I had opportunities to coach at, a couple different places, man. But to me, man, college is babysitting, man. They glorify babysitters, man, and I applaud every college coach, man. And again, I'm not taking nothing away from their profession, man, but I've heard college coaches, man, the toughest college coaches have to, take some of the toughest things, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? I just, like I say, it's only certain things I'm gonna do. And one, ain't no kid gonna talk to me no kind of way. That's just how I am. And secondly, to me, the NCAA controls your life, NBA controls your life, because you work for me basically doggone 11 months out the year. Okay, you can have this month, but you still gonna have to go by these guidelines. And me, man, I'm an in the gym type of guy. Like, I like working guys out. I like seeing the guys progression and get better. Also dealing with them character basis, but there's so many stipulations on how many hours you can have with them, this and that. And I was like, nah, I like to go by my own rules as far as dealing with the kids, man, and being able to help them whenever you want or whatnot. So, yeah, like I said, that's why I passed on the college opportunity, man, just because of a lot because of the guidelines, and two, like I say, the time, and then I'd rather make my own schedule than be on somebody else's time like that. And not to mention, shoot, too, you just never know, the turnover rate is high in college basketball and the NBA too. So you be here, next thing you know, this coach getting fired and you don't get back on. So now it's like, man, what you do now? So the stability is also a factor too, man. But I just love what I'm doing, so it worked out.
So then you leave Pershing and you start Prime. So if you could tell our viewers a little bit about Prime and what made you start it, why you chose that name.
Actually, B Greer helped me with the name, and it's really because that's what we focused on. You know, what I mean, we want to be that prime involvement. You know, what I mean, and it's one of those things that I always, you know, I mean, we always stayed in the gym, working guys out. You know, that was my thing, and I said, well, why not be able to do it now? I don't have no barriers. You know, why should now I'll be able to do it for everybody? Now, of course, it didn't work out like that in the beginning because it was so many people still, you know, territorial. Like, you know, he coached this, he affiliated with Pershing. Yeah, I'm always be affiliated with Pershing or Reach. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that don't mean you know I can't help other kids get them in school, boom, boom, or help them get better or whatnot. So, you know, initially it was rough, but you know now it's like straight, you know, because people see I'm out the way, you know. But at the same time, man, you know, it was like I said, it was tough in the beginning, but like I said, it's going smooth now, man.
That was basically my next question. With you mentoring and doing this training, are other coaches hesitant to send kids, afraid they're going to be sent to Pershing, or have you?
Oh no, not anymore. Not anymore. They they're actually cool with it now. Because like I said, I send kids, you know, wherever I know somebody's gonna look out for them or they're gonna take care of them and help them build their character. You know, that's what I'm on. So I don't, like I say, they don't look at it because they know. You know what I mean? It's not about that to me. I mean, it's never been about that to me. Just because it's Persian, I always want the best situation for a kid. You know what I mean? So, like I said, and a lot of my kids, you know what I mean, depending upon like now, you know, if I get a kid who's a 4.0 student, boom, boom, even though I love Persian to death, you know, is that the best place for him because this is an intellect. So, you know, academically they need to be challenged, you know, at the highest level. So Persian might not be the school for them, you know what I mean? So, like I said, those are things you just got to take into consideration. But of course, you know, I always love the P.
Okay, well, tell us a little about your nonprofit, the name, what made you start a nonprofit. Because if you really think about it, man, you've been doing that for the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So, what made you just be like, you know what, I want to put a stamp on it and go that route?
Honestly, man, started a nonprofit what in 14, and one of those things where we basically, man, just trying to give back. I was a benefactor of Reach and nonprofits coming up. You know what I mean? So we started ours, man, basically doing free, you know, basketball training, and also we do different giveaways. Like we about to have a winter coat giveaway, probably in a couple weeks or whatnot. But really, man, just things giving back, man, to the less fortunate, man, and just trying to, you know, help people in need. So it's just upon that same serving mentality, man, where you can just try to help serve people who, you know, might need a little more, you know, help or whatnot. But again, we just it goes along the same lines, man. You're just trying to be a blessing, man, to, you know, those who need it. And, you know, many people have blessed us. So we're just trying to keep that going, man.
So these young guys that are interested in getting better and learning the game, how do they get in touch with you? Give us all your information so they can.
So they can give me a call. My phone number is 214-418-5617. Again, 214-418-5617. That's the phone number. Twitter is at Coach Canada. That's the Twitter. Facebook is AW Canada, and then the my Instagram is Prime_Basketball.
You got to pay for the nonprofit yet?
No, and then the website for Prime is primeball.com.
Let me ask this, Coach. What are your top three, or give me your number one training success story? Like you had a kid, you started with him when he was young. Now, just one of your favorite success stories.
One of them is probably H. H started off as the little kid in the corner shooting threes. Looked like you might call him Jose or Jorge or something. Then everybody laughing at him, the spiked hair. Next thing you know, 6'5" point guard at the University of Miami. Went to Montverde, had a chance to play for the high school national championship. That's probably one. Another one is probably I would say it's a lot of you're saying based on just training with Prime, right?
Yeah.
Or you just talking about period? Okay. Yeah, another one we had one of our girls, man. She actually is came up. I mean, she's a natural right now. Stan daughter Maya, she's a good reputation of that, man. Been training, I think, since she was like 8 or whatnot. She just left Texas, playing in the top 150 in the country for mostly seniors, and she was her and a couple other juniors was there and whatnot. She did pretty good. And then I would say well, it's been a bunch, man. Probably Danny, man, Danny Dixon. I met him. He was at Grosse Pointe. I think he was 6'7" when I met him. Barely could touch the backboard. Next thing I know, he dunking. Next thing I know, he dribbling down the court, shooting threes. And then next thing I know, he go from like averaging 6 points to averaging 20 points. Next thing I know, he goes D1, which mostly D2 schools recruited him out of high school. Then it's funny, he just graduated from North Carolina State this past year. So a kid from Grosse Pointe who probably might have not even played college basketball ended up graduating out of the ACC, man. So that's probably one where like I said, that was spectacular to see, man. And the funny thing, Dip, man, the happy thing seeing is just like you probably one of the few kids I actually was able to go to their graduation because one, I was in town, but two, like I said, that was just one I had to go to. And no disrespect or no nothing against everybody else, but I just happened to be in town, and you basically was, Coach, you coming. You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah, I'm gonna come. But then the thing, man, the thing about training and the saying that why I bring up your graduation day, the look that I got to see on your mom's face when she was crying and she couldn't contain herself, that's the look you get to see on those parents' face, man, when you see, y'all as kids, man, be success stories. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, the success it's not over. You know what I'm saying? The greatness is to be continued. But just being able to see those small accomplishments, man, I think that's probably what helps me to do it. And helps me to keep at it and stay at it.
The last question I got for you is: are you sports specific, or do you train athletes to be athletes, or you just want to deal with the basketball?
Oh, I basically do mostly basketball, but I have done football players and whatnot, but I do mostly basketball right now. But like I said, we on down the line now, we what we looking to do is pretty big. So it'll definitely be all sports related, you know what I mean? But as for now, I'm one of those people, man. If I don't know how to do it, I don't try to do it. I put you in the direction. You know, I ain't one of the people who try to go to Google and change my, or YouTube and try to learn how to change my oil. I just take it to the oil shop. So I stick to the basketball. I stick to on the court. You know what I mean? And if it's another sport or something, I'm going to put you in the direction. You know, I'm going to put you in that direction. So.
Coach, who are some of your mentors, basketball-wise and outside of basketball-wise, that that you tap in with sometimes to get information from?
Basketball-wise, shoot, man, a bunch of coaches, man. Corn at Missouri. I deal with DJ at MSU. Got coaches at Baylor, man, that I talked to. I talked to Ramon a lot, Ferris State. You know what I mean? Head coach's side, I mess with Izzo. He's a good man. You know what I mean? I'm not a proponent of some of the, everybody coach is different to me. You know what I mean? But I mean, good coach Izzo, a great person, man. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's a whole bunch of coaches, man. Like I said, I love the Baylor coaches. Conzo at Missouri, head coach, who's pretty cool. Coach at Cincinnati, pretty cool. Coaches at Miami, dealing with H is pretty cool. Like I said, it's too many to name. You know what I mean? I just, like I say, it's one of those things where, if they good people, man, I mess with them. Because my thing is, try to get kids, to where their character and everything is going to be taken care of.
All right, well, one of my favorite segment of the shows is Cut Bench Start. I know you're a North Carolina guy, so I got three North Carolina players, and you got to cut bench start one. So we're gonna go Vince Carter, Antoine Jamison, Jerry Stackhouse. You got to cut bench and start one.
Vince Carter,
Antoine Jamison, and Jerry Stackhouse.
Starting Vince. Twan Jamison played high school with me. So I'm cutting him because he beat me my senior year. And he was in my conference. And Jerry Stackhouse, I'm going to just put him on the bench because I went to see him in the state championship game. And before halftime, he had already had 7 dunks. I never seen nobody jump so high in my life until I seen Vince. In high school, dog, it's crazy.
So you couldn't Twan just because he beat you in high school?
All day, dog. All day, man. And he was in Sports Illustrated off of us, dog. Scored 40 and 20. And they still only beat us by like 2 points. Crazy.
Man. So last thing I got for you, who would you like to see on this podcast? And if you got a plug, you got to plug us.
Who would I like to see?
Yeah.
On the podcast, I like to see Ep on here, man.
You got to plug us with Ep then.
Yeah, Ep, I seen you his number, man. Get y'all in contact, man. He real knowledgeable brother, 6th pick in the draft. But man, he's real relevant, man, as far as what's going on and kids and devoting his life, man, to philanthropy and doing more for others, man. Great brother, man. So that'll be my name I throw out there.
Well, you got to get us in contact with Ep, Coach, man. I love you, man. Appreciate everything you did for me, everything you did for everybody else, man. Just keep being you, man. And like you said, I'm only a call away, just like I know you a call away.
All day, man. It's all love, man. Appreciate y'all having me on here, man.
My producer, pull from the hip 4/5, I'm the shooter. Dog, I do ya. But the two don't discriminate, cause I shoot the guy next to you.
I ain't heard that podcast.